Hi, I am Cesar Santos. We are on a journey to cross the states. The plan was to go by train, but the service got disrupted due to wildfire. So we got a car to continue our trip to the West Coast. Check it out. The movement now in art needs minds that are honest and that want to express artistic sensitivities, artistic values from a unique point of view of the artist. The best thing would be to look at nature and interpret nature, interpret your life, because if you don't, you're gonna be falling into someone else's language. And what I mean by that is that now we are free to express ourselves artistically in infinite amount of ways because all the other artists did it for us. So as people developed conceptual art, installation, before that abstraction, they develop it from a personal point of view to break with art. The Impressionists got rid of the idea of painting smoothly and blending things, so they were more about the flat image and patchiness, but they still kept the proportions of nature, they still kept some sense of form in drawings. And then the post-impressionists took it to a further level by even breaking the proportions and making everything distorted. That's why they call them the Fauvists, the wild. After that, you see how every art movement was about breaking with the idea and the definition of art. They started breaking and eliminating all the principles that took hundreds of years to develop. Now every artist is on a challenge, on a quest to break away, to see how you can break it. And even in abstraction, once it came out by the beginners who took abstraction to its completion, meaning that there was nothing recognizable on the painting, then there were other forms of even that same idea of abstraction. So you see people throwing paint like Pollock, others applying it with the big broom or something like that. So even abstraction was taken to its deconstruction. Even abstraction looked conservative because you had to have it on a canvas on a wall. Then the idea came to break away from that too and do installations, and that would set it even away from the wall. So now they're breaking with the idea of art hanging on a wall and having it in a space. And then conceptual art thought, what about just breaking even the idea of creating art and just having the idea of it as its manifestation? The idea of breaking the definition of art has been developing for over 100 years, and it's up to us now to take it to our personal definition. I'm going back because I think that's the best way to move forward, to go back and look for the best possible techniques, forms of expression, and apply it in my world today, because this has been lacking for quite a bit. So now I don't think it's up to us to get into a mold, into what is the fashion of today artistic expression. Even though I go to art fairs with my gallery and I love being in the contemporary art world, we can be contemporary because the mindset is contemporary. We are observing what's going on around us. We see all this syncretism of art, all this eclecticism, all these mixtures of individual expression. What's left is for us to be honest and say, okay, I really want to grab the techniques and paint. I don't suggest to go against it just for the sake of going against it, because if you're protesting against something, you become part of it in a way and become part of that limited mindset. We are here, where, Turner?
We're in Boise, Idaho, and my wife did grad school here at Boise State, the football field with blue turf. It's beautiful, and it's a great city.
And he's a great painter who has helped me loosen up because I was too tight.
We are opposite spectrums of, I guess, the realist category.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the far side.
I think that's why we compensate each other like that, because we have our own individual visions, which is the point of being an artist. And I am jealous because he's painting with oil paints, which is what I love doing.
I got plenty, look, I got plenty.
Let's do it. Oh, I need water, my new medium. You have probably seen it. He painted a portrait of me live in Austin, Texas, while I was recording Secrets of Portrait Painting. If you haven't seen our collaboration, click up here. I learned a lot, and he also taught me to get my equipment and the camera, the mics. I was bothering him a lot, but thank you so much. So anyways, I've learned from you something so valuable that I never heard anybody say before. And it was to do this type of painting direct, even if I want to apply it in my own work. Don't blend on the canvas. You have to learn how to get the paint from the palette and apply it and almost hit the target. And just, if you think something is wrong, pick it up again and fix it instead of blending on the canvas. That was a great lesson, and I still remember it. You probably didn't know I was gonna say this.
No.
Do you remember saying that?
No.
You don't remember saying that? It was him, trust me.
No, it's true. I think that, yeah.
Hello, we have a new member.
Birdie's in the, she's in the vlog where I did your portrait at the end.
Yes.
Look what we found.
you found this? She found this.
What is that?
I don't even know what it is.
It's a frisbee.
Most representational artists, when they paint, they kind of paint at an angle. They don't approach it like that. And I saw pictures of many painters painting like that from like the 19th century. And you paint like that too. If you paint facing forward, you actually have to squeeze the brush against the canvas to be able to take the paint off. Because if you're like that, it's like leaving a mark, but you're not really doing it. So I think that's a good technical advice. I have instructions. When I have a baby that is sad, you do this.
Oh, she's scared.
What happened? I thought you were gonna laugh. Honestly, I thought you were gonna be like, wah, 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 wah. He was like, what?
Here, Birdie, here's how you walk on your hands. I'll show Cesar how to do it.
Damn. I'm giving free rides.
You want to see like some? Let's try it. Let's try it. Whoa!
How is she? What is she doing?
She's smiling.
Give me 5.
It's funny because you're doing quicker studies and I'm doing a self-portrait.
Look at this. That's a self-portrait.
I'm slowing down
Yes.
and trying to get some accuracy and
This is cool.
being a little more careful, not refining everything.
I like that.
When you grow, it's always uncomfortable, right? Step out of your boundary.
Yes.
And I mean, surely going on the road, and I mean, I'm living on the road.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, and I'm trying to gain something from painting quickly and
That's a good lesson.
reacting. I mean, and I've always thought of myself as a reactionary painter, and I don't always want to be. I mean, because I think that there's power in sitting still and rendering something accurately and carefully. But what I like is the spontaneous and some clumsiness and wild color. But like I said, I'm doing a self-portrait, trying to be more precise.
What you first said there was the key. Growing is uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, be careful. It might be a sign of growth.
Right.
In that sense. But, or at least of open-mindedness type of thing.
The guy I studied with, when we did a warm-up, and I had to do like 15 or 20 minutes of gestural copies. I mean, and it wasn't from a model, it was just a warm-up. Looking at Victoria's Secret magazines or something and doing gesture studies. And then 20 minutes of structural blocks of, not the planes, but just the whole block. And then he was flipping back and forth. Gesture, more emotional, getting
Flowy,
the feel to block, structure, measuring, all done quickly.
So you would change energy all the time.
Yeah,
Wow.
and your brain is like flipping back and forth.
That's cool. Well, the ultimate combination will be structure and flowy. Like that is the best.
Sergeant.
That's what. I mean, even that's what the masters did. They combined that strength with softness. Sometimes I want to hide the medium. I want to hide the idea of the paint, and I want to make the form say, I'm here with this texture. Forget about what I'm made of. Which is oil. And you, on the contrary, you're saying this is oil first.
Oil.
Yeah, I think you will be more like, this oil paint looks like a tree.
Yeah.
You are a landscape painter, mainly. I mean, nobody should label. I mean, in a sense that you have made
the
more
majority
landscapes.
of my work is landscape. Yeah.
So now I see that you're doing this portrait. I like that.
Yeah. I want to be well versed. You know, that's why I started painting in the first place. I had a degree, a fine art degree, but it was in photography. And I was like, I'm more than that. So then I started painting and I studied for several years, and I did a lot of portrait stuff even studying, but then I love going out on location. If I could just be outside all the time, I would be.
Can you tell us what is your home?
Yeah, well, we've been on the road for 4 months and
took away all his comfort that he had, sold everything.
2 kids and a dog.
That was
and a wife.
Quite an adventure. Yeah. Paint application is your voice. You can paint any subject matter that you want because it's your vision and the way you interpret that field of vision. So then it covers that whole range because you are loyal to your application.
I heard another painter say this and I thought I connect well with it and hopefully take it a little further, but I heard him say that like he enjoys the process of painting. And actually, I think I heard you say that you enjoy the process of drawing a lot more than the process of painting, but you like the finished product of a painting better.
Yeah,
we spent way too much time together.
No, but it's true because my paintings are cerebral.
Right.
Meaning I have a concept in mind and I want to illustrate it. Either a sketchbook page, and like what I'm doing now is like I want it to look like a sketchbook page with something developed in it.
Right.
And then I like painting people, so then normally it's a portrait or a figure. But it's more a cerebral concept. You enjoy more the actual connection with the physical paint. So you enjoy the painting moving around. Where me is like, I want to have it done.
But for both of us, I don't want it to limit me in saying, well, I can't spend more and more and more time on this painting because I like the process so much. I have a spot for 30 paintings or so in my car that are wet, and when those 30 are done, I stack them up and do 30 more, and I'm just like, I love that process. But for growth, to build a long career, it's like I want to be well versed and have a variety of finish and of quality, whatever that means.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's true. But actually, I think that you're timing it so fast, but because since the application is a fast way, its purpose is to be fast physically, but you're thinking a lot. And you, because I see you change, like I ask you questions, you're focused, you're really thinking. It's not just let me play with paint, it's the real thing. Like you're trying to interpret that and capture it simplified. But I think if you work on it and give yourself more permission to develop it, that's when you're gonna take it to a further level. Yeah.
It's not being satisfied with what you're doing. I mean, being happy with it and saying, good. But next year I don't want to be here, and next year I don't want to be there, and the next year and the next year. And so it's always thinking, like, I like that idea of painting being a pursuit. Like I said, you don't get it. I heard you say you were looking at Bouguereau and you're always like, how did he do it? You want to be continuing and not just saying, I paint loose, quick, impressionistic paintings, and
this is my
I'm
style,
happy. This is who I am.
Yeah, you hit the nail on its head, because the pursuit of it is what makes you an artist. If you label yourself an artist and you have a style and you're comfortable with it and that's your image, you're dead. None of the masters, I think, that we admire felt like that. They were always in constant change and constant movement, and that's why it's important to grow with your technique and move with it. That's very, very, like, I think that's the key.
Well, I felt so self-conscious, or felt so kind of dumb. I heard Richard Schmid say, oh, when I was young and I used all this thick paint and I just put it on there and I thought I was cool. And I was like,
damn,
that's not me. That's not me, you know?
Sure. Oh man. I think on his book, A la Prima, he says, just because the painting looks loose doesn't mean that it was done that way.
Right. From shooting these instructional videos, I've watched a lot of people paint, and you paint fast,
and it doesn't look fast. That's the funny part. That some people, like Sargent, look fast, and maybe they took a while, or other in that style. But the look of the painting doesn't describe how it was done. Yeah. It has been a pleasure hanging out, man. Impressive. We are leaving Boise, Idaho. That was fun to paint with a friend, Turner Vinson, at the park yesterday, then hanging out at night and talk about philosophy and all the good stuff that artists talk about. But my story is not over yet, because we need to make it to the West Coast. I need to see that ocean. Here we are, we made it all the way to the West Coast. We started our journey in Miami, in front of the Atlantic Ocean. Now we made it through 18 states, all the way to the Pacific Ocean. That's the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. I have learned so much. Let's wrap this video up. Hit it, Turner.
Let's wrap this video up. I met Cesar in Miami, Austin, and Idaho. We show up here with tats on his arms, the sun in the sky, face fly, shade high.